Greetings, my dear, beloved children. Today, I would like to talk about the current events taking place on your planet. I see, my dear, that your patience is failing since the agony of Dark's henchmen on Earth is being delayed, and sometimes it seems to you that they are winning. Actually, it is no case so. The things now in progress on the planet Earth have no analogues in the universe. While change of epochs used to be realized either by global cataclysms that wiped off Earth entire continents with their inhabitants, or due to the intervention of extraterrestrial races that annihilated your planet's population with mass destruction weapon, now Earth is moving to another energy space with the humanity representatives who have managed in prompt time to cover the road of spiritual evolution and to increase their vibrations up to the level enabling them to make this transition. But those who have held sway over your planet for so many centuries cannot put up with the fact they are losing their prey and are trying tooth and nail to keep their power on Earth. Remember my series of message about the hierarchy pyramid of power on Earth. And while at the subtle level this pyramid has almost gone to pieces, the executors of the program on humanity annihilation, embodied as humans, are still vehemently struggling for their life. It is them who sow panic and fear among Earth's population, making people accept the procedure fateful for them, the one insidiously disguised as injection that most people on the planet associate with the salutary means rescuing them from diseases. Until the mass media are in the grip of the criminals who seized Earth, it is extremely hard to turn the tide. The voices of thousands and thousands of pure human souls trying to convey truth to people get lost in the tremendous flow of lie proceeding from TV screens, newspapers and magazines' pages, as well as the internet. You see how alternative sources of information are being ousted out of the internet, how censorship is raging, how persecution is rife and rampant towards honest doctors, lawyers, and journalists. The palpi of the dragon reptiles have reached every corner of your planet, and every person tracking their actions and hunting them every time they feel danger coming from them. Just imagine, my dear, the large scale of the work that is being carried out by the representatives of the light forces on Earth every minute, putting their life at risk to deliver humanity from digital enslavement, and let the best representatives of it to make a unique transition into another dimension in their physical bodies. Their matter brooks no haste and is regulated from higher dimensions. They are getting enormous support, but as enormous is their sphere of activity because it embraces not some specific country, but all the planet of yours. The enemy is too dangerous, my dear, and they have nothing to lose. Feeling their soon collapse, the shadow government's marionettes have staked it all, limiting people's freedoms to the utmost. Yet, by their actions, have got just the opposite effect. Millions of people have risen to fight for their rights. And though it happens unevenly in different countries, the infeed of the energies of freedom and desire to dispose of one's life into the collective human conscience has already outweighed the energy of apathy and obedience, typical of the co-called average man. Light always wins over dark, and the energy of unity and freedom always wins over the energy of fear and servility, as their vibrations are incomparable. So please, my dear, when you suddenly lose heart and it seems your strength is draining away, sit for a meditation and send your love and support to all the warriors of light, both on earth and in heaven. Then the streamlet of your energy will join the vigorous, high vibration torrent of the best representatives of humanity that will wash away the last traces of Dark's henchmen and will encourage the long-awaited disclosure that will become the turning point of Earth's rebirth and that of her best inhabitants as well. I would like to digress from our topic and talk about how mass protests taking place in many countries of the world influence the current situation on Earth. I see that for many of you, it seems they do not bring the desired effect, since restrictive measures for the side of the ruling top are just getting toughened. It is actually not true. People's protests do not simply frighten the governments of these countries. They make them panic because they understand that globalist plans are falling apart at the seams and that it is field employees for these plans' implementation who will have to answer for their criminal actions before the nation. Those who pushed them into this will remain in the shadow, while the atonement will overcome those in the public eye, the ones who gave orders, spoke on TV, and criticized those who disagree. But having a feeling of the impending catastrophe, immediate executors are becoming still more aggressive as they are perfectly aware that confessing their mistakes cannot mitigate their lot this time. Too horrible are the consequences of the injections fatal for humans they promote. What frightens them most is the moment when the fraud will be disclosed, and it is already in progress all across the globe, and only those deep in dormancy cannot notice this. These marionettes of the world government keep afloat just thanks to the fact that all the mass media are still in their grip. But as soon as alternative, trustworthy sources of information appear, the truth, like a powerful stream, will gush out, being fortified by irrefutable facts and proofs. Now, on Earth, there are two parallel realities that are to cross soon anyway, because the degree of lie in the mainstream media has reached its maximum, being aware they have nothing left to lose now. The executives at all the levels of power decided to stake everything, trying to stifle the growing discontent of the society by force making use of all the facilities at hand, physical, moral, and financial. But as you can see, the result appears to be just the opposite. More and more people start to revive and feel being deceived. It is quite soon now when mass people's disorders will sweep away all the absurd restrictions and the salutary injections imposed by force, and it will be the very victory that was spoken about in my recent message. People will win over freedom with their own strengths by realizing the current events and understanding who are at the helm right now and what actual goals of these rulers are. Unfortunately, mass revival will not occur though, but the best part of humanity will manage to defend their freedom and stop the criminal activities of the deep state. And I am happy that many of you will find themselves among these brave people who did not yield to the menace and provocations for the side of the ruling top. Your unity and solidarity will work a miracle, and believe me, my dear, your victory is close now. Now we will digress a little from our topic and will talk about the current developments at the physical level. The cornered representatives of the world government, their field employees, to be exact, are now desperately trying to bring till final victory the human enslavement plan. They have been carefully contrived for years. In some countries, their attempts have really been a success, and now we will try to find out why it has happened, and on the contrary, why in other countries their plans face reckless opposition for the side of their nations. As a matter of fact, my dear, Pure human souls always tell the truth from a lie by intuition, and especially when it is their soul, their divine hypostasis, that is endangered. And if to follow this principle, according to the reaction of this or that country's population, there can be made conclusions on its population elements in terms of living beings embodied as humans, as well as the amount of clones among them. As you see, the least opposition to the absurd and inhumane demands of the authorities was shown by the inhabitants of China, who have accepted the new conditions of their existence in an almost unmurmuring way. It is just the location of huge laboratories for clone production, who were evenly distributed all over the country. It is mainly due to this that the economy of China has revived so quickly, where whole armies of clones were created for certain types of activities, with their efficiency and endurance many times exceeding those of an average man. The same thing, on a smaller scale though, occurs in some other Asian countries, with a low level of culture and education, with national and religious traditions being based on submission to the customs and traditions established from above, both social and religious ones. As far as European countries and American continent countries are concerned, a lot here is determined by collective consciences of beings embodied as humans, and they are numerous indeed, as you know. As for people with two souls in whose physical bodies human souls exist side by side with souls of other races and civilizations' representatives, everything is determined by the level of these people's vibrations. Since all the media are aimed at filling people with fear for their life, all these negative energies are responded to, first of all, by low vibration souls in the human body, because it is these energies that are native and dear to them. Therefore, human souls are stifled, and as a result of mass psychosis and fear for one's life, most of such people also become obedient executors of all the authorities' rules and instructions. This is what was staked at by those who have arranged this bacchanalia on earth. They are well informed about the actual composition of your planet's population. Yet, they did not take into consideration that the pure and ancient human souls in minority will be able to turn the tide, which is the case now in many countries of the world. The pure energy of the human soul has turned out so powerful that has managed to outweigh the energy of hundreds of thousands of weak and intimidated creatures, which came as an unpleasant surprise to the dragon reptiles and Orions, who came to believe in their omnipotence. This is due to this energy that mass revival on earth is taking place. Like fairy tale heroes all across the globe, there have risen pure human souls who are ready to sacrifice their life, but not their freedom. They have rebelled against the dragons, eager to enslave them, and will bring this fight till final victory. I believe in you, my dear, and know that your efforts will be a success by all means, since you are supported by all the light forces of the universe, with your galaxy brothers and sisters being among them. I bless you and love you immensely. Father Absolute spoke to you, channeled by Marta.